Introduce everybody and to facilitate this meeting. This meeting has been called by Women and Law in Southern Africa Research and Education Trust, and it's primarily about the Hwange situation. Yandisingade kunyanyita preempt zvakanyanya nekuti madzimai ekuHwange ari pano kuti vagotaura voga nemiromo yavo nyaya yavo sematangiro ayakaita nemaendero ayakazoita. Indinobva kunonzi kuissues pane nyaya, saka zhinji pandinenda daidzwa panenge paine nyaya, so tichada kunzwa kuti nyaya yacho iri papi chaipo tozoona kuti tinozomhanya nacho tichiita sei. Vari kuno kumberi ndinotanga nevakuru. Zvinowanzonzi hanzi kana paita vakuru panofanira kuita vakuru vanovaintroducer. Zvino nhasi mondiregererawo MP because hapana vanoku office yangu iduku. Tina Honorable Pariwa varipo vakamirira caucus yemadzimai. Tine ZCTU vachange vakamirira kuti vatipe labor perspective. Tina acting director weWLSA Dorcas Makaza-Kanyimo achatipawo perspective yavo seWLSA kuti vari kukwana papi panyaya. And then tine madzimai vakamirira madzimai ekuHwange. To start us off, we'll ask Dorcas to maybe just give us a situation analysis, background, and maybe an update of where we're at. I'd just like to find out, is the journalist from We Effect here yet? Right. So over to you, Dorcas.
All right. I'm going to speak to the situation of women in mining in Zimbabwe, because when we look at Hwange, it's not just about the Hwange mine, but there are so many similar situations that are happening across the country. We have had a history of whereby we have communities not really getting what they are owed from mining companies. We have the Chiadzwa situation that we experienced in Zimbabwe, where we have thousands of families that were displaced to other Transal without their full consent and without their full compensation. So we are looking at that background history where we are saying, in as much as we are saying Zimbabwe is open for business, and one of the strategies is to increase extractivism in Zimbabwe. What does it mean for land rights for women? What does it mean for the communities that are living in that mining community? Because as long as we have not put systems in place to ensure that mining companies are accountable to the communities, to the development of the community, we'll continue to have the situation that we have in Hwange right now. So when we look at the situation in Hwange, we are saying on the 29th of January, women decided to demonstrate against the Hwange Colliery mine. The reason being, there is a long outstanding legacy of indebtedness at Hwange Colliery mine, where we have workers who have worked there and passed on, have still not been paid their retrenchment packages, their retirement packages. We also have workers who were retrenched, who are still living in the colliery houses because they haven't been paid their retrenchment packages. And there are current workers right now who are still working at the mine and are owed to about 5 years of their salaries, which have not been paid. So I will not unpack that labor dynamic. ZCTU will look into that. But I want to look at the impacts this has had on women's rights in Zimbabwe. We are saying we have a constitution that promotes gender equality. It looks at having a gender balance under Section 17 between women and men. And the obligation is on the government to ensure that we achieve this gender balance. It speaks to the right to health care. And women who are demonstrating are saying they've come to the extent where they cannot even afford health care. The Colliery mine was responsible for the health facilities in Hwange, and they have cut the medical aid system to the workers to the extent that all children of the workers and the wives cannot access health care. The current healthcare system, which is now under CMED, is to the extent that they can only consult a doctor, but when it comes to drugs, they have to use their own money. So if workers are not being paid, where do they get the money to pay the drugs? So we have a serious health situation in Hwange. We look at the sanitation. The mine is responsible for ensuring there is water in all the mine houses. But currently water just comes out at night, and there is no alternative source for water. Unlike in other areas where you can drill boreholes, in Hwange it's a different situation. So we have a serious sanitation issue where we have workers who are staying at a house. About 200 workers are using the same toilet system. So you'll find that there's been an outbreak of cholera, in and out of cholera outbreaks, dysentery, typhoid, and we are saying this is all emanating from a lot of mismanagement that we are seeing happening at Hwange Colliery mine. So we are also saying this Monday at the Portfolio Committee on Mines and Energy, the Hwange board was called to provide oral evidence before the Portfolio Committee to the situation in Hwange. And what came out of that situation was that our own government has a 42% shareholding in Hwange Colliery mine. And we are saying, why isn't the government responding to the indebtedness of Hwange? Yet they responded to Cisco Steel and they availed money to ensure that workers were paid and the Cisco Steel mine continues to run. So we are appealing to the government to act as a major shareholder in Hwange Colliery mine. And we are also saying, as the board, they have also failed to respond to the women who are demonstrating, because the issue that the women are not workers at the mine is not an issue, because every mining company is a corporate social responsibility to the community. And these women are living in Hwange community, have been living there, their husbands are working there. They have a responsibility to respond and address those issues that the women are raising. So you find that as an advocacy issue, we actually are saying we need to move away from this issue of corporate social responsibility, because it does not bring accountability to mining companies. We need to speak of corporate accountability. So from a women's rights perspective, we are saying Hwange mine has failed the women in Hwange. The government has also failed the women in Hwange, despite having a constitution that promotes women's rights and that promotes gender equality.
Thank you very much. Dorcas Makaza-Kanyimo, Acting Director of WLSAZim, just giving the women's perspective of the demonstration that started on the 29th of January this year, where women are raising issues on behalf of their husbands. And we would maybe want to hear from ZCTU, is this a labor issue or is it more than that? You were the first ones to get there, Dimakatanga Kushika, on the ground when this situation started. Maybe Wimbai could maybe then just shed some light into the work that the ZCTU have been doing in Hwange and your involvement.
Thank you, Rejoice. Definitely, this is it is a labor issue in that in this country, as we have been battling to strengthen the social contract and the social contract which sustains employment, decent employment in the lives of people. There have been offshoots of cases like what has happened to Hwange, which I would implicate it to a volcanic eruption of a situation that has been contained and suppressed, and then the spouses of the workers decided to go out and demonstrate and showcase that such acts are happening, and we do acknowledge that they are happening in a lot of institutions in the country. But to zero on the Hwange case specifically, we are saying if we are to accept this situation and say, Ndoja really, you know, we are literally giving way to a situation where we can say people can go on and be employed and be usurped in their intellectual capacities, in their professionalism, and not be paid. So this is the first key question that we need to say, is this what we are accepting as Zimbabweans? Because what is being demonstrated by the board and the administration of Hwange Colliery is saying that, yes, people have gone on unpaid, then we can pay them some allowances, $200 or whatever paltry amounts they give the people, which cannot sustain their lives. And when those amounts are given, people sort of get a satisfaction that at least they are receiving something, when people cannot survive beyond that. Now, why are we putting this responsibility on the management and the board and the government? Is that when mining communities are established, they are established from a profit motive point of view. They are a business entity. People come to prospect for minerals, and they actually do planning and great investments. And what is now being seen within the mining community is that capital is happy investing in equipment and machinery. And when they extract the resources, we all know that whatever is extracted from our grounds, particularly here in Zimbabwe, it's of value. It adds value to either production of another mineral or processing of another mineral, and the value towards the end is actually more than what the communities and the people have got. So this demonstration by the women is actually the example that if we are to do that labor market analysis of how much has been extracted, how much has been sold from what has been extracted, and how much has been got, and what the people have benefited, then we can do the cost-benefit analysis as a country. And if we accept this situation without a struggle, we are literally getting into a situation where we just say, even if my child goes to school and works and does not get paid, I'll be happy with that. And then you have the spouses who are at home having to go out and demonstrate. What does that say also about our human rights situation? It actually means, first of all, the person who is working and producing every day has been incapacitated to speak out and say, can I have my salary? And this was the sad situation, which has not really come out. That when you work, when you try and say, can I please have my salary, you stand the chance of being fired. So for not wanting to lose a job, your wife or your children or your husband who is at home then comes to demonstrate. And this is what the women who are outside Hwange Colliery are being. They are being the voice of the people who are sweating in there and who are not receiving their dues. And let this ring a bell for any